we just be honest for a second? Motherhood has always been hard, but there is something uniquely exhausting about trying to raise healthy, grounded, present kids in a world that feels like it's working against you at every turn. Ultra processed food is everywhere, screens everywhere. The path of least resistance in modern life is almost never the healthiest one. And as moms, we feel that tension constantly, that worry constantly. This episode of Rooted Well is for the mom who wants to do things differently, but also lives in a real world that doesn't have time to make absolutely everything from scratch or throw every device out the window. So let's talk about what actually matters and what I am doing in my own life as a mom of four with littles ages 6, 4, 2, and about 5 months. First, let's just name it because I think it helps to acknowledge that what we're actually up against. The average child today is consuming more ultra-processed food than any generation ever before. We're talking food that is engineered, literally engineered to be hyper-palatable, addictive, and convenient. Seed oils, artificial dyes, refined sugars, preservatives. These are not just empty calories. Research is increasingly connecting them to behavioral issues, attention problems, gut dysfunction, and mood dysregulation in kids. And then layer screens on top of that. The average child is getting several hours of screen time a day. And again, this isn't just about too much TV. We're talking about how algorithms are specifically designed to capture and hold a developing brain's attention. That has real neurological consequences around attention span, dopamine regulation, sleep, and social development. I'm not saying this to overwhelm you or pile on the mom guilt. I'm saying it because when you understand what we're up against, the intentional choices you make start to feel less like perfectionism and more like protection. So let's start with food because it is foundational always. You do not have to be the perfect made from scratch chef to feed your family well, but you do have to be super intentional about what comes into your home because the food environment you create is the one that your kid will default to. A few things that I implement that actually move the needle. Number one is to cook real food as often as I can. Each Sunday, I'm trying to make some energy balls and some muffins that we can have on hand for quick breakfast throughout the week because, of course, my children are hungry as soon as they get up. I also love egg muffins. These recipes can be simple, whole food ingredients, and the goal is that real food is the norm in your household. I also pick 2 or 3 recipes that I'm going to make throughout the week. I do these on my non-patient care days, the days that I'm home with my kiddos. Maybe it's prepping a crock pot earlier in the day, or during nap time, I am cutting up the veggies so that they're all ready to go for my stir fry or for my homemade bolognese sauce later that evening when it comes time to prep dinner. So I'm getting everything ready and prepared so that I can make 2 or 3 meals from scratch for the week. Then the other 2 or so nights, we have them as leftovers. Once over the weekend, we are usually ordering out or going out to eat. It's an experience that my family enjoys, and I'm not going to take that away from us. When it comes to snacks, we have a healthy snack drawer in our home that my kiddos can pull from as needed, especially in a season where I am breastfeeding our littlest. Having something that is quick and accessible for my toddler and my preschooler has been a game changer. We always have fresh fruit, fresh veggies on hand too. My kids love fruit and veggies for snacks. So some raw carrots and hummus, some apples with a peanut butter Greek yogurt dip that my kids love. Those will be things that we have for after school snacks. In our home, real food is the norm. I read ingredient labels. So when you go shopping, look at the ingredients. If you can't pronounce half the ingredients on the list and it's a paragraph long, put it back. Teach your kids about this stuff too. If I'm grocery shopping with my children, I'm looking at the labels and I'm telling them why I might be putting something back on the shelf, or I'm telling them why I won't buy something that they want to reach for because they've seen it marketed to them. It starts to become a habit and a life skill that they'll carry with them always. So at home, we make the healthy option the easy option. Now, when we are outside of the home, this is a different story. If we are going to a friend or a family member's birthday party and there is cake with dyed icing on it, like, I am of the belief that it kind of is what it is. Like, my kids have not reacted so strongly to something at this point or had so much of something that has made me do a full stop. And this is where I ask you to watch your kids closely because everybody is going to have a different level in their tank for what they can process. And some people might have literally one sucker that has food dye in it and they're going to be like off the walls, or they might have an allergic reaction. For mine, I haven't quite found that. And so if we're out and about, if there's not a healthy option available, like it is what it is sometimes. And don't beat yourself up over that. I also here want to highlight the emotional response of food and that being somewhere socially with loved ones is going to be far more important than the stress response you get from consuming something that you wouldn't bring into your own home. Does that make sense? Stress is a huge issue here too. And the anxious generation is something that we're seeing more and more about. A lot of that is tied to screens, yes. But if we look at it on the side of things of like the super hyper vigilant parents wanting to make really healthy choices for their kids, again, I am in that category of making healthy choices, but I also think there's this gray area that we have to be okay with loosening the reins and we can't expect perfection, especially for our children, because that alone can increase anxiety, right? And stress isn't good either. So let go what is outside of your control. Let go of having to be perfect in every situation. Make healthy the easy option as often as you can, but in instances when it is not, it is okay. So here's the truth about intentional motherhood in a modern world. You will be swimming upstream, and that is okay. Upstream is exactly where you want to be. You will be the mom who brings a different snack to the party, the mom who brings a different snack to the park, the mom who packs the lunch for her kid 4 out of 5 days of the week, the mom who goes on a field trip with her kids and sees the lunches around you and sees the processed food consumption that is still rampant in today's society. And you'll look at your own kids' lunch and be so grateful that you had the ability to pack it. Pat yourself on the back when you can. Give yourself credit where credit is due for making the decisions that are leading to a healthier life for your child. But also, don't expect perfection. Don't expect perfection from your child nor from yourself. Give yourself grace when grace is needed and let go of any guilt because that leads to stress, that leads to anxiety, that leads to worry, which leads to inflammation. So if that is the whole goal, to create a healthier environment, a healthier home for you and your family, stress, we do not want to be part of the equation, right? So letting go of what is outside of your control as well. Some days this may feel lonely, it may feel exhausting. And if you ever need somebody to reach out to, I am always here. Feel free to send me a DM, comment on this podcast episode, and let me know what is working most in your life right now and what you are doing that is building a different foundation in your children. Know that you are helping their gut, their overall health, their attention span, their relationship with food, and their relationship with technology, which can be an entirely separate episode. But this will serve them for the rest of their lives. That is rooted well. That is the work. Again, you don't have to do this perfectly. You just have to stay intentional. Keep coming back to your values. Keep making the next best choice and give yourself the same grace you give your kids. If this episode resonated, share it with a mom in your life who needs the reminder that swimming upstream is worth it. And make sure you're subscribed because we are going deep on all of these topics: real food, raising kids, managing the mental load of modern motherhood, all of it. I'll see you in the next one.